Hey everybody, happy freaking Friday. Welcome to the Local Marketing Institute Q&A Live. So, with Greg Gifford from Search Lab Digital. Why do I always flub that,
You
Greg?
can't ever say that right, man.
I
You
know, I
think
know.
like
It's just
6 months into this, you could do it.
I know. I'm just saying it's like anyway, who you can reach at Greg Gifford on Twitter if Greg is going to be staying on Twitter after the Musk
Yeah,
invasion.
we'll see what happens there.
Just saying. And myself, Ben Fisher from Steady Demand at The Social Dude. I'm probably going to stick around on Twitter. I'll be honest with you. I don't care for whatever is going on over there. I like a
I'm
marketing
losing
channel.
my check for sure because there's no way I'm paying for that.
Oh man, really? Okay. Anyway, so join us on Facebook, Local Marketing Institute Connect, where we are at brand new 2.1 thousand members. You can come here. We do use this as a source for questions for the webinar that we're doing. Also, Greg, myself, and a lot of other really intelligent, smart people are in there asking and getting questions answered all the time. And then finally, download the Local Marketing Institute podcast so you can listen to it while you're driving or doing whatever, exercising, you name it. It's on Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio. It's kind of all over the place. So grab it, listen to it. Awesome. Okay. So with that,
it's time for news. And I actually did remember to get a news sound effect, but when we were trying this earlier, Ben couldn't hear it. So everybody in the chat, let me know if you can hear our new news intro. What does one mean? Very low. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to find something that's like plugged into Zoom then.
Yeah, like
so lame. I was so excited for everybody and nothing.
All right. Hey, Trisha, Steven, John, how's it going? All right, cool. With that, I guess we're going to get into news. We don't have a lot of news, actually, believe it or not. Not much has happened in the last 2 weeks. Well, I guess except for the fact that suspension again has been averted again. So now the bug is fixed. So you can feel free to edit your Google business profiles as much as you want. Kind of. All right. Just, every time you edit, it still might get suspended, right?
Right.
All right. The next thing we're going to go over with really quickly, and I'm sure this is what's on everybody's mind. And that is that the new in-search experience is now rolled out 100%. It's been happening for the last year and a half, folks. It's just finally here fully. And, of course, the big mind-jarring experience, I think, for everybody is that you now go into your Google Business Profile Manager and formerly the dashboard, and you get your locations list, which, by the way, if you don't see it, you can actually go to business.google.com/locations. And even if you only have one, it'll show up. But when you go there, you only have a choice to do a couple little things. Bulk activities like discard, import multiple locations. You can go ahead and you can edit your information, posts, and photos as the little icons. It'll bring up modal windows. Or if you click on the listing, yay, it brings you out directly to search. And that's where you actually need to do any kind of activities that you want to do with your profile. Now, that being said, there is a small workaround. We don't know if this is going to last forever. But if you copy the dashboard URL, yes, I know it sucks. Paste it into your URL, paste the URL, replace the word dashboard with edit, and you'll get straight back into what you were before. However, I will put this out there. Google is and Google does what Google does. So the fact of the matter is this workaround is not going to work forever. And I know everyone's going to hate this, but it's best to start getting used to it. This is going to stick around, just like the name change. And they're not going to change their mind. So I would say play around, get used to it, work on it. And I want to put out a call to action really quickly. If you are finding that in the new in-search experience, there is something that you cannot do I'm not frozen.
Ben's not frozen.
I'm not frozen. Sorry. But yeah, so basically, if you find a feature that is basically missing, okay, and because it's supposed to be 100% full feature parity is what they consider it. But if you find something missing, like the other day, I was working on a suspended profile and I found out the reviews aren't there. We used to be able to see them. And so now it's not there. So I can't do certain troubleshooting things. So, so basically Google is looking for this feedback. Do a Zoom video. Not a Zoom video, do a Loom video or do a doc with screenshots, whatever, saying, I was trying to do this. I was able to do it before. Here's what I used to be able to do before. Here's the screenshots of what I can only see now. This is missing. Please help. Bring that. Go to the community. Post that. Ping me on Twitter with the URL for that, and I will go ahead and look at it. I'll answer it if I can, or I'll raise it to Google. One of the two. So they're actively seeking this feedback. So feel free to give it to us, and we'll get it over to the right people.
Boom.
I don't know. What do you think about the whole thing here, Greg?
I don't, most of the people that seem to be complaining about the dashboard being gone tend to be agencies, but it does confuse businesses as well. And it's one of those situations of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't really know what the thought process was behind going to update it. And clearly they had to create a lot of new code to be able to make you edit it in search if it was already working as intended with the dashboard. I'm not really quite sure why they decided to make the change, but I don't know. I mean, we'll probably all complain about it for a year or two, and a couple of years from now, like, okay, cool, it is what it is,
Yeah, well, I mean, the reason though, the why they did it, right? And I just wrote this up actually for Bright Local. So is that if you look at it this way, just think of it in this terms. There are hundreds of millions of merchants which are on Google Maps, right? Can't give you the exact number, but there's hundreds of millions. So if they look at that big data, what Google has said that they've seen, whether it was some product manager skewing the data for his own wants and desires, who knows? But like posts, that happened with posts. Anyway, but the fact is that out of that data set, what they saw was they saw that people were actually typing in my business to try and find themselves. And they also saw that people were, and we saw this in the community a lot. People would go to the web, type in their business name, and then they would try to make an edit to their hours or their phone number or whatever from suggest an edit, which wasn't meant to do that, right? It was meant for UGC. So, so basically it came down to is like, where do we spend our resources? Do we spend our resources on the single merchants, or do we spend our resources on the agency and multi-location? And unfortunately, multi-location and agency comes down to maybe, I'm going to make an assumption here, but I'm going to say it's probably around the 1% to 2% range.
Yep.
If that. So, yeah. So, I mean, so it makes sense, right? It makes business sense, actually. Is like, if I only had 1% or 2% of users that were using a certain type of feature and it was sucking my resources, I'd probably put my resources somewhere else. And so they're not done. Agency dashboard is going to get features and enhancements. But for today, we have the new in-search experience. So it's kind of what we got to live with. Yep. And I agree, Trisha, it is a bad user experience. And, it takes 5 clicks to do something that took 1 click before.
Yep. It is for sure slowing things down.
Yes, exactly, Max. Google business problems.
Yep.
All right. So with that, before we kind of move on forward, I just want to do a 1-click house cleaning thing I did not say. And that is, please, everybody, make sure you put your questions into the Q&A section. We currently have a couple in there, so that's fantastic. So, but keep them coming. More importantly, remember, the last 20 minutes of this episode, we are going to do live troubleshooting for you. So if you have an issue that's burning and you have a question, please go ahead and feel free to ask.
And keep in mind, too, you can go to the Facebook group and submit sites before we get to the live show. So you got 2 weeks before the next show. You could definitely go submit some stuff there and say, hey, guys, let's do this one on the next one. So we're happy to accept pre-submissions as well.
Exactly. So we're here for you. Help us help you.
Oh, you got to do the other news item for the
I know.
that Joy did. Don't forget that.
I know. All right. So so that's that. Now, along with that comes a problem, right? And that problem basically is that how in the world do we go ahead and find all of the reviews that need replies? Because I don't know, Greg, it used to be pretty darn easy, right? So basically Joy went ahead, and I think it was actually Colin who found this out. Went ahead and found this little hack. It's really small, but again, it's using that same kind of tip. Changing the word dashboard, instead of changing it to edit, you change it to reviews. Works for posts, photos, by the way, just so you know, booking. Anyway, so do that. And then when you see your business name, just click on the little arrow and it'll bring you out to the experience showing you all the reviews that still need to be answered. It's pretty simple, but hey, it'll save time.
And now it is the time of the show where we go into questions. And the first question goes to you, my friend.
Let's do it.
And it is from Leah Green, who I don't know if Leah is here today or not.
This was from last week, I think.
Hopefully Leah is here today. Leah, if you're here, say hi in the chat. But the question is, we are trying to put our Google products in a certain order on Google Business Profile. I know the product you edit most recently should appear first. However, it seems like the products keep rearranging. Do you know if this is based on user interaction?
I actually think it's the other way around, if I remember correctly. The last product that you enter, let's see. Yeah, the last product you enter and shows up first. That is correct, actually, in this context. But I have never seen products rearrange. That's a new one. That sounds like something completely different. I would love to see a series of screenshots actually proving that, because I've never seen it before.
Video.
Or a Loom video, yes. So unfortunately, I'm going to say that might be an issue with the profile. But if you want to reach out and show us some examples, be happy to take a look. All right, buddy, this one's for you. This one comes from Kathleen. Hi, Kathleen. If you're out there, is there any benefit to posting more than once a week?
Let's see. I'm going to browse through and see if Kathleen is here. Kathleen is not here. Kathleen, I would love to answer this, but I need a little bit more information. I would wonder what you're actually posting to understand why you're asking if there's benefit to posting more than once a week. So at a high level, the reason most people say that the cadence should be once a week is because back in the day, posts would only be visible for 7 days before they would disappear. Now posts are visible for 6 months before they disappear. So unless you have something compelling to talk about that's different from whatever you posted previously, that post is probably still showing. Unless you have something different you want to talk about, there's not really a reason to post more than once a week or even once a week anymore. You could do once a month. Now, if you do want to just vary it and change things up, sure, you could do that. But keep in mind, too, there is still an issue where if you upload the same image too many times, it gets tagged as a duplicate and it's not going to let you put that post through. So you've got to vary your images as well. Also, keep in mind, only 2 posts are going to show before you have to scroll in that carousel to see other posts. And it's usually pretty unlikely that anyone's going to scroll through to see what's there. So you really only have 2 visible at any point in time. Posting more than once a week means any one post is only going to be up for a couple of days and maybe up for a week before it gets pushed off by the 3rd time you post. So keep that in mind. You probably will have diminishing returns by posting too often because each post is only up for a day or 2 and then it's no longer seen. So I would suggest not posting that often unless you just have a whole lot going on. Also, keep in mind, posts should be promotional. I've done a lot of research on this and published it. Joy's done a lot of research on this and published it. Don't treat it like social media. It's not social media. It's an ad that appears in your Google business profile. You should treat it like an ad.
Preach.
Boom. The next question is for you.
Let's do this.
It is from Daryl Rosenblatt. Let's see if Daryl's here today. Nobody's here today from these questions from last week. But hopefully Daryl's listening to the podcast recording on a later date, because Daryl has a client whose GBP is suspended and wants to know if he can use the agency dashboard to be invited by that suspended profile.
The answer to that is no. It is not possible. You cannot request access to a suspended profile. Also, bonus, you cannot request access to a service area-based business either. So really what you should do is Daryl, if you have a location group for suspended profiles or whatever the case may be, just go into group settings, grab that little number and give your client the number, and then we'll just have to add you. Basically, that's really what it comes down to. There's no other way around it. All right, Greg, for you, buddy. How can we make Google posts more engaging and attract more clicks/views on them?
So I guess today is just Ask Greg the Google Post question day.
Sure.
So anybody else that has Google Post questions, drop them into the Q&A and we'll get to them later. No. So yeah, for sure. Like I just said on the last question, remember that it's not social media. Most of the time when I get this question from people, it's people that are treating it like Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and they're just posting social fluff, and that's not effective. You really do need to treat it like an ad. That's what it is. It's an ad that shows on your profile. That's how you should approach it. Make sure it's compelling. But most importantly, the reason most people fail here is they're not paying attention to what shows in the thumbnail. They're paying attention to all the stuff that they're writing in the big image, and then they're wondering why they're not getting any views or any clicks. And it's because the thumbnail image is a cropped down version of that image. And then below that thumbnail image is just a few lines of text. Depending on which template you use, you'll have more or less text. If you're using the event or the offer post, you get one line for title, one line for title, one line for date range, one line for description, and then you're going to have a call to action link, which will be the fourth line. So it's a little bit harder to write something as compelling there as you would be able to do on the what's new post, which will basically give you 3 lines of text and then the link. But even still, you're not getting a lot there. Most people really screw up by not paying attention to how it's cropped. So, we work with a lot of car dealers. The bottom half of the car is completely cropped out of the image, or people like to, have text in an image and half of your text is cropped out and it's not readable. And if you're looking at that thumbnail, think about it. Like, take your marketing blinders off, take your business owner blinders off. If somebody's an absolute noob and they know nothing about your business, is that thumbnail image and the couple of lines of text compelling enough to click on or not? Most of the time, that's where people miss out. That thumbnail image and couple lines of text sucks and it's not compelling. So why would anyone click on it? And that's why you're not getting views and clicks. So pay attention to that thumbnail. I'm going to put it into the link right here, a bit.ly link that will take you to a Photoshop template that I've created that will give you a little bit better insight into what's going to show up in that thumbnail, because the way that it crops, it's automatic. It's a little bit higher than vertical center, so it's not very intuitive. You can't really control it. So if you use this Photoshop template, it gives you a lot better control over what's in those images. I'm going to type the link in right now.
I remember creating one of those way, way back in the day. You just sparked an interesting thought here on a totally different subject with going back to the in-search experience. I believe that in the in-search experience, there's only actually what's new and product posts.
They don't have the offer post anymore? I didn't realize that.
I was just thinking about
that. Can't
this.
Be right.
Let's go take a look real quick.
Let's take a look at that, because Joy's research that she did with Sterling Sky, their results were that offer posts were by far the most successful posts.
Let's take a look. So if we go there and we go back down, let's see, we want to go ahead and add a post, add an update. So if you add an update, no, it's just add update.
You don't even have an. Oh, I got to go play with that then.
Yeah, it's literally just add update. Okay, we're gonna have to ask our
So
people
there's no
over at
more.
Google.
There's no more event and there's no more offer. It's only a single update, which means those other ones are gone away.
We're gonna have to go and we're
Brittany
gonna
said, "Click view all."
view all.
Oh man, sorry, we're kind of going off the rails here because this is a little bit freaky for us.
No, they're here. I
truly-
mean, I'll share my screen real quick. So we take a look here. Here's where you add a post. You click add update. That's it. Just get description, button, photo.
That is nuts.
And there's nowhere else. I mean, view all is viewing all, right? So it's all the way at the end here. So you click
Yeah,
add
it's
post.
add a description, add a button. There is nothing there about.
Here we go. I see what she was saying. So you click view all. Oh my God, this is unintuitive. Update,
Wait,
offer,
hold on.
event.
I wasn't watching. Go back to what you did. I didn't see that. I was playing on my own screen.
You got to go all the way over here to view all.
Okay.
And then you can add update, offer, and event.
Oh, that is so not intuitive.
Kill me now.
That's the silliest thing I've ever seen. But hey, you know
Oh my
what?
God, Joey.
Mo money, mo Google business
geez.
problems.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Wow. Brittany,
Okay.
thank you. Oh my goodness. It's all the way at the end. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad we don't post manually, but geez, that's a pain in the butt.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
So
now we have a question for you. This one is about local business and legal service structured data implementation. On which pages should this be implemented? Homepage versus contact versus all money pages that contain a GBP listing for the focused location. Have you seen a visual improvement in ranking after implementing this specific structured data?
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say you put structured data on pages that you want to put structured data on, that you want to tell Google. I mean, I don't work with structured data a lot, by the way.
That is actually not correct.
Excellent. I love
Maybe we
learning
should have
things.
asked this question to me. The actual correct implementation of the local business schema is you only put it on the page that is your Google Business Profile landing page, which means for a single location business, that local business schema should only exist on the homepage of your website and the homepage only. If you have a multi-location business, the local business schema should only exist on the location landing page for each location and on that page only.
Cool.
That is the correct way. Now, does it mean you can't put it on every page? No, you can, but technically the way that schema has designed the code, it should only be on the page that is the landing page for your Google Business Profile, which for most intents and purposes is only on the homepage of your site. And then his question of, have you seen a visual improvement in ranking after implementing it? Not really.
I would say no.
Yeah, in the past, maybe, but lately, I don't think it's really that important. Maybe if you were in a city that only had 4 underwater basket weaving studios and you're the only one that did it, and all other signals were equal between the 4 websites and digital entities, maybe it might improve things, but in reality, there's never going to be a situation like that. So I wouldn't
Just
look
like
at
anything else, right?
Yeah.
Google trusts the website the least.
Yeah. So that would be a big no on that.
Yep. Okay, cool. All right. With that, we do have a complicated GBP question for you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this one comes from Daryl Quinlan. So Daryl has this question. Okay, you ready for this, Greg?
Daryl's not here today.
Oh, Daryl, geez, really?
We need to, and actually, we're at the 20 minutes mark where we should switch over and do live questions for the people that are here. But you said this was complicated, so let's do it because I want to get
fun.
Let's play Stump Greg.
All right. So this is an ongoing Google issue with Google. It seems Google is not willing to assist. Surprise. Lee Jeep duplicate to Lee Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram link. Lee Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram radically changed. Missing are hundreds of reviews. Lee Auto Mall Auburn now considered a duplicate to the above profile, which it is not. Will not show on search, and Google's telling me it's owned by somebody else, which we have always owned, the Lee Auto Mall Auburn profile. Huh.
I see Lee Auto Mall Auburn, Lee Auto Mall Auburn, I don't see. I do see Lee Auto Mall, which is in Auburn. It says will not show on search, and Google is telling me it's owned by somebody else. I see it showing in search. I also see that they've got a bug because they're still showing COVID-19 updates as posts. But Lee Auto Mall shows, what was the other one? Lee Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Lee, see, this is where we kind of need him here because he says missing are hundreds of reviews, but I see, I see Auburn, but I don't, wait.
This is kind of a little bit convoluted.
This is messy because if I look for Lee Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Auburn, I see number one organically is Lee Chrysler Jeep Dodge Auburn, but I see Auburn Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in California, where it's a different Auburn. What's this one? Lee is in Auburn, Maine. Let's try
the first one's just saying that the first one's unclaimed.
Okay,
and the second link they're giving us is the same as the first one.
Okay, regardless of what their links are, I see Lee Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, and I see 215 reviews. And let's see, they've got reviews from recently, and it looks like I'm not seeing any really old reviews there. So maybe this would be where it would be great if we could get some clarification, but I see 215 reviews, which isn't a whole lot for a dealership, but it is showing. I'm not sure what radically changed means. For sure, the first one is not like, I don't understand duplicate to Lee Chrysler. Lee Jeep is not necessarily a duplicate because Lee Jeep, wait a minute. Lee dash Jeep has, wait a minute. This is really, I love this. This is crazy. It only has two categories selected. Is it the same? Lee Chrysler Jeep Dodge, Lee Chrysler Jeep Dodge. That is interesting. I would 100% go to the forum on this one. I don't know why we wasted so much time. Like, this is wonky. Without more information about specifically what the radical changes are, who knows? The Lee Auto Mall Auburn is at 765 Center Street. Lee Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is at 765 Center Street. So what is Lee Auto Mall is Lee Auto, which is just a used car. Okay, wait a minute. This is all kinds of messed up because they have Lee Auto Mall as a GBP that has a website that links to leeauto.com, which is Lee Auto Malls plural for some reason. I don't know why it would be Lee Auto Malls, like maybe they have more than one location. And then that appears to be a group site for multiple brands. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, like 15, 16 different. Wow, this is a train wreck. So yeah, go to the forum or Daryl, pop me an email, and I'd be happy to jump on a call and try to get some more details and point you in the right direction there, because that is crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hit the questions.
So I guess wait, was that my turn? Yeah, so it's your turn. So this would be Jackson is asking if it's okay to use emojis in the GBP name.
The answer is going to be yes. You can actually, and you could, but it's not. Well, it is. Depends. Technically, it's allowed. However, somebody could report you, and you could get suspended for it. Emojis are definitely allowed in posts. By the way, you can do them in posts. I would recommend against them in your description, because they fall into the Unicode kind of language, and it will get you suspended in your description.
And just because you can use them in the name doesn't necessarily mean you should use them in the name.
Exactly. Right. So Jackson has another question, though, and this one's for you.
Way to dominate, Jackson. Give everybody else a chance to talk. Jeez, man.
No, that's anonymous attendee's job.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And Anonymous is Dak, apparently.
Yeah, he is. He is at 10 o'clock. Yep. All right. So we've had a few client listings get marked as permanently closed. Do you think that the competitors are doing this? Any way to fight it?
No, that's happening because you're using emojis in the business names, Jackson. I'm kidding. It's highly unlikely that it's going to be marked permanently closed because of a suggested edit by a competitor. Now, could it happen? Sure. But I mean, geez, there's probably something else out there that's confusing things. But yeah, I mean, I guess it could happen that way, but I would want to know more about what the listings were. Give us some other details. Always remember, Google has access to a whole lot of data that we publicly can't see, and there might be something else there that's causing that.
Yeah. If it is somebody who is doing it, sorry, there is no defense against it. If it happens like every day, then document it, and you come to the community, we can ask Google to lock down the suggested edit feature.
Yep.
Doesn't always work, though.
And now we have a question for you from our old dear friend, Anonymous Attendee.
Hello, Anonymous Attendee.
When appealing for reinstatement on a suspended GBP, how do we send the maps link for the GBP, which is asked for on the form since it's not live? I used to use the link from the dashboard, but with the new in-search experience, I can't get there.
So the answer is very simply this. Number one, if you grab the dashboard URL before, you know where it's at. Remember, you can go to /locations. You can right click on the link. On the listing. Don't click it, right click, and you can grab the dashboard link. That's one way to do it. The next way to do it is if you click on it, it brings it out to the in-search experience. Then you can go ahead and you can grab the full URL, which is in Chrome, basically at the top, and they will use that. Bonus. If you do go to more information about your business profile and go to advanced, you can also grab the ID of the listing. However, I do not recommend using this at this time because support is obviously 100% confused if you use that, although you're supposed to be able to. So, short answer, click into search in this in-search experience and grab the URL.
Boom.
All right, for you. This is from John Pino. So, hey guys, FYI, client lost the ability to crop photos in the new search view and adding them to posts. Is it going to be added back? I never used to crop photos for posts, so I didn't realize it was a thing.
I didn't know you ever could crop photos in posts.
I believe there was a very specific way to be able to do that in the dashboard.
Maybe I'm the wrong person to ask because we don't post through the individual. Like we wouldn't go to the dashboard to do posts. We have a tool that we use to do our posts. So I don't know. Sorry.
Jeffrey, since you're here, where do you go to crop the post photos?
My question would be, why would you want to crop the photo?
Oh, there we go. Jan just answered it. Thanks, Jan. And that is so Jan with DBA platform Storm Sky. He just answered that you can use the icon which is in the main dash to crop photos. Okay, cool.
But also, you should just use the template at the link that I shared a little bit earlier in the chat window. If you use that template, then you're uploading an image at the size that you need it to, and you don't have to worry about the sucky cropping tool that's in Google, and you can just upload an image at the size that you've already controlled, so you have better control over what's going to show on your thumbnail.
There is that. Okay, cool. And Jan, hey man, we got to get you up here one of these days.
Yeah, we should. We were just talking about how we needed a new guest host, so I think we use Jan next. Jan, are you down to be a guest host?
We asked one.
This is where I could use my Jeopardy sound effect that apparently
there he goes for sure. So. Sweet. Okay, cool.
Sweet. All right, cool. We'll hook up with you and get that set up, dude.
Yeah, 2 weeks. All right, cool.
Wait, whose turn is it? This is your turn. Or my turn?
I don't know. I think it's your turn.
Oh, is anybody? Hey, chat us. Whose turn is it? No, wait, you answered that.
I did answer that. So it is your turn. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we equal opportunity here, everybody. Just saying. Yeah. So, Greg, we have a question from Greg Shattuck for you. Do you know of a way to see users for the in-search experience? I don't need to see it all that often, but if there are issues, I'd like to see who a user sometimes. I think I know what they're asking.
Are they asking about like who has access to edit the listing, and they want us to see the list of who has access to edit the listing? That is an excellent question. I do not know the answer to that question. Yeah,
give me a second. I mean, I do this, but I don't do it too often either. So let me just go find it really quick. I know exactly where it is. All right. Okay, so what you do is after you've typed in your name or my business or however you've gotten to your profile on InSearch, then you click on the 3 little dots, and what you want to do is go down to business profile settings. It's the first option. From there, you will basically get 3 options: managers, advanced, and remove. You want to click on managers, and that's where you will see the list of all the managers. And nicely enough, you get their email address without having to hover over the thing. So that's how you do it. All right. Max has a question for you, buddy. Thoughts on Google Performance Max?
Max, buddy, you know I don't do paid search. I can't really answer that question. I don't. You're in a local search forum, my friend. I really can't answer that question. I could ask my team what they think, but yeah, I got nothing for you here.
Neither do I, unfortunately. If it was about LSA, I could answer the question too. So, all right. Well,
so Max, you don't get an answer. You wasted your opportunity this week. So hold all questions to next week, Max.
All right. So then we'll just give you this one from Jeff Manger. So Google is changing primary categories. Will be a problem to just change it back? Is there suspension risk?
There's always a suspension risk. Apparently, they've mostly fixed it. Jeff, can you pop into the chat what it was and what Google changed it to, so we have a little more insight here?
See, now we need the whole Jeopardy theme.
Yeah, we do. I can play it. It's just going to be really quiet. Okay, it was doctor, and now it's holistic medical practitioner.
That should be fine.
Yeah, you should be able to just change that back. No worries.
Yeah. You shouldn't have much of a suspension risk there. It's not a duress category. Don't take my word for that. Do at your own risk, as always. I'm not responsible if you get suspended.
And you can't use emojis in categories, people.
Wait a minute. I thought you could.
Last maybe question, or maybe we can keep going through. We don't have that many more left. Everybody that's here, like we consistently have 40 to 50 people a week. Y'all need to go submit questions through the Facebook group or tweet us or something so we can get more pre-prepped questions. That's kind of fallen off lately. We could just switch to doing all live, but it's a little easier when we can prep. So help us out. Go in, submit some questions. But now the question we will maybe finish on, maybe keep going on, is from Tony. And it says, hi, guys. First time, long time. Hopefully not too wordy here, but here goes. I have a service area business client with a non-publicly accessible physical location that's an office park with a warehouse that had their top-ranked GBP suspended in July. We think it was due to a duplicate listing the previous SEO ill-advisedly created for a new division. 5 weeks after requesting reinstatement, we heard back from Google requesting more documentation. We did so and have periodically added to the case's email thread. We even went so far as to try a moonshot and did our own version of the video verification, hosted it on the client site, and added the link to the email thread. That walk around featured multiple branded trucks, a tour of the facility, highlighting things like a branded conference table and on-site staff. We are now 100 days out from the suspension and not heard a word from Google. Business has cratered due to the loss of the profile leads and the 100+ reviews. Any thoughts on why this seems to have completely stalled?
All right, let me see if I can unravel this really quick. Okay, so Tony, hi. All right, SAB client, non-public, right? Office park / warehouse. First question for you, Tony, is do you have an office there with a working computer? Next question. All right, next portion. Please answer the questions inside of chat if you are still here. All right. All right. So they have their top ranked.
Yes, they have offices and computers.
Thank you. All right. We think it was due to a duplicate listing that previous SEO ill-advisedly created for a new division. Okay. Is that new duplicate list? You say duplicate listing, but does it mean that the GBP actually, does it say the status is duplicate or suspended? Suspended. Okay. So with the duplicate listing is to have the exact name, address, and phone number of the one that which is suspended. Has to be exact. Same everything. Okay. Well, that is bad. Okay. Do you have it claimed into your dashboard or is it just kind of hanging out there? Do you have control over it? Can you make edits to it? Are you a manager?
This is the bad one.
Owner?
The duplicate that the previous SEO created.
So got it. You're an owner of it. Okay. Owner, hopefully. Okay. All right. So the first thing I'm going to say here is the proper way to do this. Okay. First, the proper way to do it is to remove the duplicate from your dashboard. Make sure you can find it on search first and document the URL for it. It has to be an unclaimed state. That's number one. That is number one. Correct. Yes, it needs to be removed. So that will block a reinstatement any day of the week. So that's going to be problem number one. So then you say 5 weeks after requesting, we heard back from Google requesting more documentation. What documentation did they ask? I'm assuming it's going to be incorporation documents, business license, or utility bill. Did you send any of those three? All of those. And did the information that was on those three documents, did they match the exact business name as it is in Google Business Profile, along with the warehouse office address? Yes, although official LLC, not so on the profile. Okay. So there's probably going to be your issue right there, is if the LLC name is different than what's on than what the profile name is, that's going to be a confusing issue for Google, and Google
I
will
read that more like it said LLC on the bill, but it doesn't say LLC on Google. But other than that, it matches.
It's usually not the case. So let's clarify with Tony. We got some time. So Tony, what's the mismatch between Bob's Grocery LLC or okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter. LLC is okay. Technically you want to take the LLC off of GBP if you want, because it's technically
No. He's saying it says Bob's Grocery on GBP, but Bob's Grocery LLC on their utility bills.
Yeah, that's fine. That doesn't matter. All right. So you haven't heard 5 weeks after requesting. You heard back finally, right? Google requesting more documentation. You sent that back.
And then they haven't heard.
How long
anything.
ago has it been since you emailed them that information?
August, if it was 5 weeks later.
No, they're saying that, 5 weeks later is when they got the actual reply, but I want to know how long ago it's been since they actually replied. So you're saying that the profile has been suspended for 9 weeks? Yeah, I guess so.
So they haven't responded since
Back in August. Ouch. That's not good. Yeah, and you did the moonshot video, right? Ooh, never be. Okay, so what I want you to do is you need to go to the Google Business Profile community. You hear us say this a lot here. And I want you to just go ahead on, that doesn't matter. So basically what I want you to do is come to the GBP community, post in there, use a Word doc to have the business name, dashboard, or whatever URL that links to it. Dashboard or maps URL. Case ID, I want you to document the time periods. It can be bullet pointed. It doesn't have to be in paragraphs. So date you submitted, case ID. Whatever happened 5 weeks later on this date, we got a reply to send over this. We sent these documents over. We did video. We sent that. Still have not heard back. In a Google Drive folder, put all of your Google Business proof, your utility bills, the video, everything. Okay. And then put that folder link also into the doc. And then come to the community forum and go ahead and make a post about that, include the link to your doc. And then somebody on our end can go ahead and we can escalate that to a product expert can escalate that to Google and see if we can get an answer, because 100 days, you should not be still suspended, especially with that proof.
Yep.
All right. So what do we got for the next one? All right. There we go. Just getting something ready. Okay. So Jeffrey has a question. Do you agree with Joy that keywords and reviews do not impact rankings?
Jeffrey, are you asking this because you saw my comment on Twitter or Facebook about this? My whole problem is, man, I love Barry and I'm friends with Barry. We've got Barry's sound effects of yes, it's new, or no, it's not new, but apparently my sound effect thing isn't loud enough anymore. Barry came out and put it on Search Engine Journal, Search Engine Land, whatever, and said that there's this new study that's been done by Sterling Sky that says that this is the case. Okay, cool. They picked one business that they said had really bad SEO and horrible website, horrible signals across the board to try. And Joy came back and clarified they did it that way to try to isolate just reviews as the factor that would increase stuff. But they had 6 different people from the Sterling Sky team leave reviews with certain keywords to see if that influenced visibility. So no, I don't agree with that, because that's one business that they tried it on. They didn't try it at scale. They only tried it on something that had bad SEO. So for all we know, if it does work, maybe you have to have all the other signals in place as well. Maybe independently, it doesn't matter. But there's been enough, unless something has drastically changed recently, there's been enough research done by our team, by other teams. Darren Shaw's done a ton of research on this that has shown that there is a lift. Obviously, do the math on it. Google's pattern detection, a couple of reviews here or there aren't going to matter. But if you see that pattern over time consistently, that's when it affects visibility. So doing 6 reviews on a really small business with bad SEO over the space of a few months is not going to prove yes or no, it works or it doesn't. So Joy did come back and say, yeah, probably wasn't the best for him to use the language to say this was a study, maybe call it a case study. I wouldn't honestly even call it a case study. I honestly, I love Joy, but I wouldn't even have tweeted out, hey, we've proven that this doesn't work, written a blog post and say, hey, we've proven that this doesn't work, because the methodology wasn't there to have any sort of result that you could be trusted. So no, I don't agree.
I have to agree with you, Greg. I think it has to be done on 3 to 10 to 100 profiles to actually get a really good sampling.
And over a big period of time, and not on someone that admittedly has horrible SEO and is a really small business.
Yeah.
So
it kind of reminds me of something else that happened this past week. And, again, not to be Debbie Downer on this stuff, but I mean, it's just if we're going to test things and make statements, we need to have really good empirical proof. And somebody came out this week, and Darren retweeted it, and love Darren. Totally do. And he agrees too that this needs more investigation. But the guy came out and said basically that he is a service area based business. Or no, I'm sorry, he had his address showing, and then he hit his address, and then all of a sudden magically his ranking improved. And then he removed it and his ranking tanked. Okay. Cool. Kind of. Interesting. Now let's see 100 other people do it.
Exactly the same as the thing that happened 4 or 5 months ago, where the dude in Canada said that he changed his Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram dealer's primary category from Jeep dealer to car dealer, and saw a massive increase in rankings for everything, even for Jeep dealer and Dodge dealer and Ram dealer, which every local SEO was like, bro, that makes no sense. And he's like, no, I got the proof for it. And then I went and I tested it on a whole bunch of different car dealers, and it had zero effect. So before you go and do something, I mean, great that you're testing, people. Always be testing, 100%. Always be testing. But think about the methodology of what you're doing in the test. And is it a reliable enough sample size? And do you have enough data to prove that what your hypothesis is true or not true? Don't just do a really small thing on one site and then go, oh, hey, everybody, this is how it works.
Yeah. And the other thing is, going back to the review thing, Trisha just brought up an extremely good point. The fact is that keywords in your reviews also do show up as justifications, which is a conversion point.
Yep.
There's another thing, which is another conversion point. With enough keywords, with enough frequency, Google will give you the little chip. For instance, if you go to steady demand, you look at our profile, it says Google My Business because enough people have typed in Google My Business. That's freaking cool. Again, but it's also another conversion point.
Yep.
So anyway, that's both of our thoughts there on that.
And we got 5 minutes left, so let's just bang through more questions. We don't really have enough time to do any live troubleshooting. I don't really see that anybody submitted anything anyway. So
sounds good. Okay. Right.
Next one would be for you.
Yep.
From Alexandria, who says, I joined a little late, so my apologies if you answered this. Is the SERP feature the only way to edit GBP now? I can't find a way to revert back to the old interface. Thank you.
Alexandria, just watch the replay. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. So, yes, unfortunately, the interface that you are seeing now is forever yours. So there is a trick. However, you can go ahead and you can grab the dashboard URL, right click it, do not click it, right click it, copy it, paste it into a new tab, and then replace the word dashboard with edit, and you'll get back to where you were. However, that being said, what we said earlier was, and go back and listen to this later, please, actually, because there's more to it. But yeah, what we said is it's a good idea to try and get used to the new interface because it's here to stay. There's no way around it. So you might as well just bite the bullet, figure out, work it into your processes.
Right. Sorry. I'm laughing at Tony's next little statement in
I see it.
the deal.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay.
For everyone wondering what we're laughing at, we're looking at the Q&A here, and Tony was referring to the thing that we just kind of did the troubleshooting with earlier with the grocery issue, said they took it to the Google Business Profile community several days ago, and they only really received SEO inbox spam from agencies that monitor the community. That's funny and unfortunate.
Yeah, Tony, and actually you can report those people in the 3P form. They're not supposed to be reaching out to you actually with commercial intent. And if you want to send us the users with a screenshot, of the email where they say, "Hey, I found you on the community," send that over to us. We'll get the freaking people banned. Goodbye. If they have a profile. Okay. All right. So apparently there's a way to add offers and events for your GBP. Here's a screen video. Sorry, we cannot take that today.
Yeah, but no. That's what we were talking about earlier. I think if you look at the timestamp on that, it was 12:30. That's when you and I were both freaking out going, "Oh, wait, we can't do offer or event posts." And I think he was just being helpful saying here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was the view all posts. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Is it okay to use animated GIFs in the GPP services and products area? So the answer to that is yes. It worked previously. From what I understand, I haven't tested it since. It doesn't work anymore, although I still have one that's active and live on my profile. So if you can get it to work, sure. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, I mean, like if you can get it to work, sure. It's maybe it stands out a little bit. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Test it, see what happens. I don't know.
Trisha says she had it work recently, so okay. I guess it still works. All right.
You do stuff with LSAs, don't you?
Oh, too much, yes.
Okay, so here's a good question from Susan. Yep. LSA ad leads completely dropped off from 10 plus a month down to 2.
Yep.
They called Google, no issues, etc. Any insight into why this drop off?
Yep. So first thing I'll say is this, Susan, is I literally just the other day, 2 days ago, did a presentation at local university all about local service ads where we dropped probably 30 different knowledge bombs about LSA. And a lot of them talk about what you're having to deal with right here. Let's just put it this way. There's a couple things at play. Number one, there's a quarterly kind of refresh that LSA goes through where you will be getting leads. And then all of a sudden for 3 months, you won't get leads. And then you'll start getting leads again. So there's a possibility of that. The second possibility might be is your budget, believe it or not, your budget may be too high. Yes, I said your budget may be too high. So in our example, we were using a PI that had a budget of 35 million. Obviously, you're probably not doing that, but let's just say your budget is 10,000. If your budget is set to 10,000, your budget is set to $10,000 and there's not enough leads to actually go ahead and give you leads, basically, then Google will basically just stop giving you leads completely because they can't fulfill your request. So look to see how high your budget is. Is it very realistic? Take a look at the number of competitors that you have. Do you feel like there's enough leads that actually go around? And literally ask yourself that question. You've checked all the items. Okay. That being said, your LSA agent just might not be good. So I would say call back again and ask them if there's anything going on. If you want to go ahead and DM me on Twitter, DM me with your LSA ID, and I can just go toss it over one of my reps real quick and see if they can see any problems. No, I can't do that for everybody. Sorry. But Susan, if you want to do that, thank you. If you want to do that, DM me and I'll take a look. Okay. With that, John has a question. All right.
We're out of time, dude.
We are out of time.
1 o'clock. We can save John. Come back next week and we'll start with your question.
All right. So, gosh, yeah, John had like 2 questions. All right. Okay, let me just to answer. Okay. All right. Well, with that, Susan, thank you for the question. That was a great question to rock out on. So thanks everybody for coming to the Local Marketing Institute live Q&A with Greg Gifford and myself, Ben Fisher. We will be returning here. This is just another episode on the books. We should start counting these actually. How many have we
really
done?
should.
Yeah. So yeah. So, but thank you all for coming again. We wouldn't be here without you. Hopefully we've given you a lot of value, and we will see you in 2 weeks, most likely with Jan Gilray from
Let's hope
DVD
so.
Platform. Okay.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Have a good weekend.